Hi everyone, and welcome back to the final chapter of Margaret's memoirs. I have my finished Nick the Booksmith's Deserted Island Challenge book finished. The story so far, so I've made up a whole story that goes along with this. If you have not seen them yet, I did 4 process videos of how I made this. And so you can go back on my channel and find the other 4 videos if you want to see the whole process. But this is the final product, and I decided that, you know, I don't know about you, but when I do junk journals, are they done? Are they done? Are they done? Yes, no, maybe I could add one more thing. So I finally decided this was done. And it's been an interesting process. But the story so far is that Margaret and her husband Arthur live in the late 1800s. He is a sugar cane, basically distributor, if you will. Their kids are grown, so Arthur has convinced Margaret that she should come along on this trip down to Jamaica to check out the sugar cane fields. On their way down there, their ship runs aground and they're stranded on a deserted island, but because it only ran aground, pretty much everybody survives. I don't like people drowning, and I also don't like ships sinking, so none of that in here. But they're stuck on an island together, so they're able to retrieve a lot of things off of the ship. Not quite sure how, not getting that detailed, but anyway. So they retrieved a lot of things, and she was able to retrieve her sewing kit as well as some office supplies and some pictures. This is what I would imagine her journal would look like. I actually, for my glue, chose paste. So I actually made my own out of flour, water, and sugar, used that on this. I also, one of my choices, this is from Nick the Booksmith. This is from Milady's Desk. I chose 1 page of ephemera for this. I had the fabric. This was a manila folder, a file folder actually. And then I had scissors and some red thread. So what I did was I took some fabric that was really pretty. It had alternating widths of flowers on it. After I sewed in my signatures, I glued this down with the paste, and I also added this to the cover and made a tie. So it goes all the way around, and this is that same fabric again as a tie. When I pasted the ties on, I realized that the paste wasn't going to hold, so I actually sewed underneath to keep them on better. I used hand avocado dyed paper throughout this, that because I did it in lumps of paper, if you will, some is the pure avocado dye and some of it will be speckly like this. I put just a little tuck spot in the front. This is just a piece of paper. I thought about writing the whole story down and decided that I was going to leave this more as a junk journal to be filled in later. One of the things I also had was a pen. So some of the decorating I did was to draw pen things, and that's my best attempt at a rose. I also glued and sewed the tabs. So I have 4 tabs on here, and each tab has a different kind of sewing and stitching. I used fabric that I backed with paper to make a tuck spot here. I imagine this to be her granddaughter, Hannah. So they're an older couple, their children are grown. And I imagine this to be her granddaughter Hannah, and she would keep that picture with her. The next few pages, there's some daisies. I didn't realize I had the daisies on this side when I decided to do the stitching, and that ended up to actually be pretty happy. I did some other decorating along the top there. A couple of blank pages, some more roses here. Then I made another tuck spot. This actually, I don't know if you can see this, but it actually talks about buying flour and baking powder. So I imagine that this was a receipt that she had from the Clover Farm store for the flour that she used to make her paste for this journal. This is one of those really cute flip up, flip down tuck spots, and I created the handwriting by writing out the 91st and half of the 92nd Psalms from the Bible. Then I just glued a little piece of fabric, and you'll see another one of these in here. Some more drawing up here, another fabric tab. This is the second signature, so there are 3 signatures. I think I did 6 pages each, I'm not sure. These, I can't remember what they're called. There's something bells, blue bonnets, I don't know. Anyway, and I did some hand stitching. I actually had a very relaxing afternoon hand stitching yesterday. There is the bow. Here is just one of those flips. This would actually be, so I imagine that this was actually from her. She actually owned this veloutine, that it's a powder that women can apply, but it also has a slight pink hue, so it keeps her complexion looking lovely. That would be something that she would have taken with her. This is a picture that reminds her about Sundays, being a proper Victorian woman. She's a very devout Christian. And this reminds her of the pipe organ at their church. So she remembers that, and that was just something nice to have. Again, this was a flip, so you could flip and journal in there. Some more drawing, another tab. Again, a slightly different stitch on that. Oh, I just did some random. That's a chain stitch. Did some random stitching. This is a pocket magazine that she had with her. All I did was glue that, or paste that is probably a better word, to a regular piece of paper. This could be used as a journal spot. And then it just all folds back up and goes back in this. Again, this is the paper-backed fabric. More of the flowers that I drew, hand drew. Another flip. This is, you know, her husband is in business, and this is his account book, and she would have taken that with her to make sure that they kept proper accounts of everything. We have a couple more blank pages, another rose, just a blanket stitch that I stitched along the edge. I kind of sound surprised, don't I? I don't remember what I did. Some cross stitching on this tab. Another one of those flip up, flip down kind of envelope things. She was very grateful she had her sewing kit because her husband lost a button on his shirt while he was trying to make survival things for them. So that was another thing that she had. And I think that's the end. And this is actually another tuck spot as well. So you could tuck something back there. Now, I am happy to say that Margaret and Arthur were rescued within 2 months of their ship running aground. And her granddaughter, Hannah, found this among her grandmother's things and has kept it as a family treasured heirloom. Now, that is the flip through of this, but I wanted to share also a couple of things that I learned. So today I journaled about, this is my journal, and I journaled about lessons learned from a journal challenge. And one of the first things I learned was don't compare. I made the mistake of looking at a couple of different journals and starting to feel like mine wasn't going to be good enough. Mine wasn't pretty enough. Mine wasn't whatever enough. And definitely that's something that everybody, I think, needs to be careful of. Don't compare yourself or your artwork, for that matter, to anyone else's. The next thing was, when things aren't going as planned, buckle down and keep going. I really hit a place where I was done with this book. I thought, I'm done. I'm just going to quit in the middle of this. I'm not going to finish it. Yesterday I decided, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to do all the stuff I planned for it. By the end of the day, I felt really proud. I'd finished it, and I think, personally, it looks pretty darn good. Having been married 33 years, this is a lot like long-term relationships. We all hit a place where it feels like it's not worth it to keep going, but just keep going. Trust me, it's worth it in the end. Then that you can really make something beautiful out of very little. I think in a day and age where we complicate things, there's a tendency to just make things way too complicated. And we don't have to. We can make beautiful things with just a few things. And I thank you, Nick, for challenging me to make something beautiful without all the extra book pages and things like this kind of, you know, all the other stuff that can go into a junk journal, that it was just a beautiful one. And the last but not least is that challenges are meant to stretch and grow us. And this is true in life and journals. I really, in the end, can say I honestly enjoyed this challenge to make this journal because I was stretched. And I know that was Nick's purpose behind creating these journal challenges, is to actually challenge us and stretch us. So in the end, I am very thankful to be stretched, and I hope you enjoyed this flip through of Margaret's memoirs. This was her final one. I hope to have some more books finished this weekend. I will get up a few more videos hopefully in the next week or so. Please subscribe so you can see all the other cool things I'm doing. Well, I think they're cool anyway. And that way you can keep up with things that I have made. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.